The medical bay of the GSS Perseverance hummed with quiet efficiency as Dr. Adnan Malik finished calibrating his diagnostic equipment. 3 months into humanity's first deep space diplomatic mission, he had examined everything from microscopic space fungi to crystalline entities that defied biological classification, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The airlock hissed open, and through it stepped the most imposing being Adnan had ever encountered. The Kethmori warrior stood nearly 3 meters tall, its chitinous exoskeleton gleaming obsidian black under the medical bay's sterile lights. 4 arms, each ending in razor-sharp talons, moved with predatory grace. 6 compound eyes arranged in 2 rows across its angular head, fixed on Adnan with an intensity that made his skin crawl. Human. The creature's voice resonated through its chest cavity like grinding stone. I command you to examine me. Adnan's colleague, Lieutenant Nehal Aziz, shifted nervously at her monitoring station. As the ship's xenobiologist, she had been present for every first contact examination. But the Kethmori delegation had specifically requested the chief medical officer. More accurately, they had demanded him. Commander Zexthul, Adnan replied, keeping his voice steady despite the alien's overwhelming presence. I'm honored by your request. However, I should inform you that human medical protocols require informed consent and... You misunderstand. Small creature. The warrior's mandibles clicked in what their translation algorithms had identified as contempt. This is not a request. I am Kethmori. We do not ask permission from lesser species. Nihal's fingers tightened around her data pad. The Kethmori had conquered 17 star systems in the past century, each populated by species they deemed inferior. Humanity's invitation to these talks had been their first diplomatic overture to anyone they considered remotely equal, though that equality remained very much in question. Adnan nodded calmly. Of course, Commander. Please make yourself comfortable on the examination table. As the massive alien settled onto the reinforced platform, Adnan began his preliminary scans. The bioreadings were fascinating. A dual circulatory system, redundant organs, and what appeared to be cybernetic implants integrated directly into the creature's nervous system. Your species intrigues me, Zexthul rumbled, watching Adnan work. When we first detected your radio transmissions, we expected another weak civilization ripe for conquest. Yet here you are, the first species to actively seek us out rather than cower at our approach. Humans have always been curious, Adnan replied, adjusting his scanner's frequency. We prefer to meet challenges head-on rather than wait for them to find us. Indeed. The alien's primary eyes focused on him with renewed interest. Your ship appeared in our space 3 weeks ago requesting diplomatic contact. No shields, no weapons arrays powered. Either you are supremely confident or supremely foolish. Nehal spoke up from her station. If I may ask, Commander, why did you agree to these examinations? Your people have refused all previous attempts at biological exchange. Zexthul's mandibles spread in what their computers translated as amusement. Because, small biologist, I am dying. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Adnan's hands paused over his instruments, while Nehal's datapad clattered to the floor. The implants, Zexthul continued, gesturing to the metallic nodes visible beneath his exoskeleton, enhance our natural abilities, make us stronger, faster, more resilient. But they also corrupt our biological systems over time, what your kind might call cancer, though the process is far more complex. Adnan resumed his scans with renewed focus. How long do you have? Perhaps 6 of your months. 7 if I am fortunate. The warrior's voice carried no self-pity, only cold acceptance. I am the first of my kind to develop this condition. Our scientists believe it will spread to others as the technology matures. And you want me to examine you because humans are weak, Zexthul stated bluntly. Your bodies are fragile, your lifespans brief, your physical capabilities laughable compared to any true warrior species. And yet, he paused, seeming to struggle with his next words. And yet you have survived everything your hostile little world has thrown at you. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, plagues, wars, you adapt and endure. Your medicine reflects this tenacity. While we Kethmori conquered through strength, you humans conquered through persistence. Adnan's scans revealed the full scope of the problem. The cybernetic implants were indeed causing massive cellular damage, But the pattern was unlike anything in human medical literature. However, the underlying biological processes were surprisingly familiar. "Commander," Adnan said carefully, "I believe I can help you." Zexthal's 6 eyes fixed on him with laser intensity. "Explain." "The corruption you're experiencing is similar to what we call an autoimmune response. Your body is attacking the implants, but the implants are fighting back, creating a cascade failure. In humans, we've learned to modulate these responses using targeted immunotherapy. You would share this knowledge?" The alien's voice carried a note of genuine surprise. "Even knowing what we have done to other species?" Adnan met the warrior's gaze without flinching. "That's what humans do, Commander. We help when we can, regardless of the past. It's not always the smart choice, but it's the right one." For the first time since entering the medical bay, Zexthal seemed truly off balance. "Your species continues to confuse me, Dr. Malik. We came here expecting to find another civilization to either conquer or dismiss. Instead, we find this." "This?" Nihal prompted. "Strength that does not depend on superior firepower or perfect genetics," the alien replied slowly. Perhaps there are forms of power we have not considered." Adnan began preparing a treatment protocol, his mind already racing through the adaptations needed for Kethmori physiology. "The treatment will take time to develop and longer to implement. You'll need to remain here for several weeks. And if your treatment fails, then we'll try something else," Adnan said simply. "That's what humans do. We keep trying until we find a way." Zexthal was quiet for a long moment, his compound eyes reflecting the medical bay's lights like dark stars. When he finally spoke, his voice had lost its commanding edge. "Perhaps," he said thoughtfully, "it is time the Kethemori learned a new definition of strength." As Adnan worked to save the life of a creature whose people had conquered star systems, he couldn't help but smile. Sometimes humanity's greatest weapon wasn't superior technology or overwhelming force. It was simply the stubborn refusal to let someone die when you might be able to save them. Even if that someone had come to your ship demanding to be examined rather than asking for help. That, Adnan reflected, was quintessentially human, turning commands into cooperation, one patient at a time.